Round the fire, warm and bright, stocked up food for the night. Got our plans set in gold for the days when it's cold. Tools and gear stacked up high in the cabin we reside, listening to the winds howl, prepping for the morning's prowl. At the purpose fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, round the fire every night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Preppers Fireside. Today, got a full house. We're joined by Brian, who's just always here. Hi, Brian.
Well, if you don't want me here,
we always want you here, Brian. Eimear, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How's you?
Yeah, excellent, excellent. And we have a new addition to the Fireside, which is Roland. Now, Roland, would you like to introduce yourself, but very briefly, because we don't want spoilers for the podcast?
Yeah, okay. So I'm Roland. I'm from Cork in Ireland, and originally I'm from Germany, as probably everybody hears.
I did detect a slight accent, just ever so slight, you know. So, in the chat we have Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Miss Worm is there, policing everybody as usual. Eimear's in the chat because she prefers to type. Paul Thomas is there, Ready Prepper One, and Lanx Lass. Hello to you all. So, how's everyone doing? This week's been a bit insane. The heat today, I want to mention first. It's the first time I've seen a sunny day where the Met Office didn't give us a warning. How's it where you are, Brian?
22 degrees, which is uncomfortable for me since Scotland's famous for webbed feet, and that's about it. It's a bit toasty.
Iron brew and webbed feet. Are you feeling the heat? You were camping last night, Eimear. Was it warm?
Yeah, it was warm during the day, so 24 degrees, and then blooming freezing at night, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, all good fun though.
This is what happens when there's no cloud cover. Roland, how is it over the water?
Yeah, it's fine. We don't have rain, so we have some weather overall.
That's the most general weather report ever. So did you see the chaos in the Manchester airport thing, Brian, on the news with the officers? It's
I did.
I'm not sure what the score is, but the first clip released was like, oh, look at these terrible police. But now new footage has emerged where they're getting leathered beforehand.
The real footage was released after somebody accidentally leaked it, who they don't know who leaked it. And I've been in so many group chats and arguing with people about that. It's been shocking. The first video that they released in pictures and stills threw the coppers under the bus, in my opinion. It threw them under the bus. The second video shows you a number of coppers being attacked, several of them being attacked from behind, trying to hold onto their firearms. And then the guy that eventually did put the boot in, I said, well, we've got to look at it in context. He didn't know somebody tasered them from behind. All he knew was he was falling backwards after being punched repeatedly from behind, landed on somebody, still didn't know the situation, but it does show you the video of the guy's hand brushing against his firearm. So, in my opinion, he doesn't have any hands to draw a baton. A taser's already been deployed, he doesn't know. It's split-second time, and he's been assaulted, he's disorientated, and he puts the boot in to subdue somebody and safeguard his weapons. I don't have a problem with that. I genuinely don't.
What do you think, Roland? Do you think we've got too many kid gloves on our police these days? Because obviously they look like they're just defending themselves. Was it to the extreme, or?
I actually didn't see the news at all, but I have to say, I like it how the German police is handling every protest in Germany, actually. So,
fill us in. How are the German police handling the protests?
They're kind and remove the people kindly.
Do I detect a hint of sarcasm there at all?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, you. We'll have to look into that one further then. Eimear, do you think it's police brutality, or do you think we don't give them enough freedoms? Because I mean, every time something like this happens, there's 4 officers fighting for their jobs and their livelihoods.
I'm a bit like Roland in that I didn't pay close attention to the news this week either. I think sometimes I do feel for the police a little bit in that they're stuck. They're kind of stuck. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So yeah, it's a real tricky one. I'm glad I don't do that job. Because I think it's you're probably forced to make split decisions in the moment all the time.
It sounds like fight or flight, right? Can you prosecute someone for fighting when it's fight or flight like that? I was replying to you, Eimear.
Oh, sorry.
Conversation.
I honestly don't know, but yeah, the law is probably against you.
Yeah.
Solid adrenaline. It's like you're guilty of.
Yeah. There's what do you think the outcome of this was going to be then, Brian? Do you think we're going to just see I don't want to, without putting out too many things, I don't want to see the lefty let's prosecute them all and everyone can do what they want in an airport, because an airport, right? Come on. If it's got to be strict anyway, it's got to be there.
The government, politicians and media tipped their hand right at the start with their intentions. They released one picture which showed an innocent man on the ground being kicked and stomped on, right? What it didn't show was 3 coppers being attacked, punched in the face, jumped on their backs.
Multiple times, yeah.
Yeah, a sustained attack with a lot of violence. And in my mind, you're fighting for your life. See, in any other country with the police have firearms, there'd be 2 body bags there right now. There'd be no messing about. They'd been shot. Now, unless things have changed, when the firearms equipped to subdue a situation by non-lethal means, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't kill the guy. He was disorientated. He made a split-second decision that we've got the luxury of analysing in a nice, safe environment. And the guy made a call, and I don't think it's fair for us to judge it later on.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. I think he was fighting for his life. He didn't know what happened behind him. He didn't know a taser had been deployed, and he acted with best intentions, I think. But I think he's going to get screwed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a shame, to be fair, because you're going to end up with a police force that's scared to do anything. And when it's you that's the victim of that crime and the police are going, sorry, I can't do anything, he's not a threat to me, then you're soon going to change your mind, is my opinion. But that's just me. Other news, there was marches going on, obviously, through London, both the far right and far left, both of which are not far right and not far left. It's just, slightly one side and slightly the other. Luckily, came to nothing. There was no clashes and no big violence, which everyone was expecting. We saw the fear videos coming out going, this is going to be the end on the 27th and all that. That never happened. But Tommy Robinson apparently has been arrested for the film he showed, which is interesting. But let's get on to topic. EDC, everyday carry. Okay. So the first question is going to go around, and we'll start with Eimear. What's the purpose of an EDC, Eimear?
EDCs would be essential items that you'd carry on your person on a day-to-day basis when you leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
It's there for I was going to say for your comfort, but survival, comfort, somewhere in between those two. I think, and as we'll find out, it's quite personal, isn't it? What one person carries to another. So
definitely, we will be looking at everybody's bits and pieces from their EDC towards the end. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Brian, what's an EDC to you? Same.
Broadly, yes, but it will be situation dependent, depending on where you live, where you're going. So you'll have the basics, but it will be season dependent, transport mode dependent, country dependent. It could be a firearm.
Mm-hmm. Roland, is that the same for you? And do you actually carry an EDC?
So, depending on the situation, I have in my backpack which I use for shopping. I have every time a first aid kit. I have a Leatherman. I have a live straw.
Yeah.
And I have extra money in my backpack. So yes.
But that's a backpack, and that's for specific places. Is that everything?
In my backpack, I take my backpack everywhere. So when I go out, I have my backpack with me.
Right. Interesting. All right. Okay. Well, you're not allowed it for my challenge. There you go. You're not allowed your backpack for this chat. For the purposes of this video, you have no backpack. So is there examples? I mean, people talk a lot about EDCs, Brian, and you see some people's videos on here and they're like, this is my EDC, and it's a 2-hour-long video of them listing enough contents to go inside a pickup truck.
Yeah.
What realistically, is there an EDC realistically? If you're going on a night out with the lads, are you going to be taking, the things you see on these EDCs? Is it an EDC every day?
Again, this will sound really flippant. In that scenario, an EDC could be something that you need in a nightclub later on at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's still a bit of PPE, right? I know that's not what you want to hear, but it still would be an everyday carry for that situation for personal protection.
Of course, he's talking about one of those little personal alarms in case you get attacked. That's what.
Sounds like a true Scotsman.
I was actually talking about condoms, Mike, but it's okay. We'll go with that one.
I was trying to save face a little bit,
I know. I just blew it up.
But yeah, so that's exactly my point. Where people say this is my EDC, it's not every day, right? Because you're invited to a wedding and you've got to wear a lined tux. And Roland, if you're invited to my wedding and you're wearing a full tuxedo and your missus is all dressed up nice, are you still going to have your backpack on in the church?
I have it not with me in a church, but I have it with me when I travel.
Right.
So it's always with me.
All right. Okay. Whose is this backpack outside the church? That's Roland's. Eimear, do you have a EDC? Do you carry anything every day like that?
I have a backpack, like an everyday backpack. I'm not really a handbag person. And it's got certain essential items, some of which you'll see in this chat later. But yeah, I carry a backpack with some essentials in it, but it can vary. And I don't take the backpack all the time either. So like going to the gym, I don't take a backpack. I just take my gym bag. So yeah.
That's another example for me going to the gym, because I try to literally take the bottle of water. Everything else stays in the car, right? So, so, I mean, my point is it's not every day, right? When you see these preppers making the videos and they're saying, I carry this every day and it's this little survival tin like this and it's got knives and all sorts of stuff like that in, then it's not every day. It's got to be dependent. Now, over encumbered can be a thing. Now, Roland will know all about this because he has worked with Blizzard. So if you get over encumbered on certain games, you start walking really slowly. Can people overdo these EDCs, Roland? How much is when does an EDC become a bug out bag?
I think an EDC should not weigh more as 3 kilograms.
Right. Okay. There you go. Simple rule of thumb. Brian, same question.
Say again. I never heard the first part. Sorry.
If like, how much is too much when it comes to an EDC? Some people are saying I carry 3 things, 5 things. Some people are saying a suitcase. What should be kind of the middle ground there?
I would kick it back to, like, say, the military or the infantry. You'll have your Bergen with your patrol pack for mission specific, but your belt kit will have the essentials if you ever get separated. So perhaps some ammo pouches, blah, 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 but basically a water bottle and essentials. So it should be everyday duty items that you carry on your person, and the rest it will be task specific in your bug out bag, get home bag, whatever it is. But your everyday carry stuff should be, everyday carry items. Essentials only. not bulky, not heavy. Basically, shit you should stuff in a pocket.
Yeah. Eimear preppers seem to forget the law when they're putting together these kits and showing them on YouTube, and they're saying, "Oh, this is part of my EDC, and it's a giant Rambo knife." How realistic do you think they are when they're putting together these EDCs that we're seeing? And you can buy pre-made ones. Do you think it's for the UK laws? Do you think it's appropriate?
Probably not. I mean, each to their own. You know, what you want to carry. You know, regardless of the law, that's up to you. You know, but I'd say it's not practical if you think, you know, would your like 60-year-old auntie or whatever carry that as an EDC? Like, probably not. So just, I don't know, make it a bit more normal.
Yeah.
Is that if there's such a thing?
Yeah, I know a lot of our American friends. Part of their EDC will be a small firearm. Because in certain states there's concealed carry laws and there's open carry laws. So obviously we don't have that luxury, I'll say. I don't think you can have an open carry longbow in the UK anymore. Let's go to the comments quickly before we go on to actually seeing people's stuff. Lanxlass says they should have been charged with assaulting emergency workers, not be out trying to gain sympathy. That's regarding the police matter that we talked about. It's not that he's be arrested, it's the fact that they've used anti-terrorism law to do it. I heard that there's 4 men that have been arrested and are already straight out on bail anyway. Our British justice system strikes again. Kelly does not have a proper EDC, so she'll be writing down all the notes from tonight. So we'll be responsible for Kelly's EDC by the end of this episode. Michael says, does Brian's EDC include a can of Diet Pepsi? Well, you'll have to wait and see, but I think I've seen Brian stood there with nothing at all in his hands, and then Pepsi materializes. So I don't know what's going on there. That's a floating Pepsi can. Anyway, Paul Thomas is just giving out some of the stuff he puts in there. Tuck by says EDC is definitely very individual. The arms I carry are perfectly appropriate for me, but 1,000 other people find my setup cumbersome or just not viable. Everyone should carry water though. Interesting. Water is quite a heavy thing to be part of an EDC. Maybe just knowing how to source it is part of that battle. Right. So the scenario I set for these guys, I got grilled back and forth on a WhatsApp group for this because I wasn't very specific at first. But basically, they're caught off guard. They can't have a bug out bag. They can't have this everyday carry item is a giant Simon the Sorcerer hat that contains everything. No Harry Potter tools, nothing like that. And basically, I give them a challenge of 4 EDC items. The scenario is that the authorities have told them to get away from their house, leave the area right now before they've had a chance to go in and get any other preps. So they've got 4 items on them. Now, it's the authorities that done this, so obviously the rule of law is in place. So hopefully they've considered that option. We'll go around one at a time, and we'll do 1 item each, and we'll just go around and we'll explain what we're doing. I'll go first because, spoilers, I've seen somebody else do this. My first item is a mobile phone. Now, everyone doesn't think of this because they're preppers and they think of the power going out and EMPs and stuff like that. But a mobile phone is everything in this day and age. And if we still have internet and we still have power and stuff like that, most people can't survive without this in peace times, never mind SHTF. So my first item is a mobile phone. Brian, would you like to tell us your first item and why?
A water filtration system so that I'll always have water. A little white straw.
And you will carry this around?
Yes.
So if you see Brian with this in his front pocket, don't be worried. It's a water filtration item.
If you think it's anything else, you'd be very disappointed. Just going to throw that out there.
There we go. Water filtration. Roland, what's your first item?
My first item is a Seacock key.
Excellent. Excellent. Can you just tell us what that is and what it's for?
It's for opening water fountains and such stuff. Yeah.
Yes,
so
it's an excellent item. It's an excellent item. I put this inside my scavenging kit that I put together, and people don't realize, as dirty as it is, the water that comes out of a radiator and stuff like that, you can get with that key. You can filter that and you can drink that. It's access to a lot of things, that key. Eimear, your first item, please.
My first item is a filled water bottle. It's a chilly one, and I take this everywhere. Every time I leave the house, I always take a filled bottle of water with me.
There we go. There we go. So most people have thought of water. I'm just, I'll ring Just Eat for my water. It's fine. Okay, we'll go with second items here. I've lost my second item is another one that lots of preppers overlook and don't even think about and don't put it as part of the things. But bear in mind, you can only have 4. So my second item is my wallet and money. Cash, even in an SHTF situation, will get you out of a lot of binds in the first few days. Whether it's a long-term SHTF situation and cash becomes nothing but fuel for the fire, in that short period of time, first having cash on you can be essential. Brian, second item.
Second item will be a means of shelter. So just a little bag with a poncho on it, stroke, and basher as well. So dual purpose.
Brian's going full bushcraft with his EDC. His EDC is for the forest by the looks of things. Roland, your second item, please.
My trusted Leatherman.
Yes. Excellent. We don't even have to say anything about that. I think I've got a Leatherman. I love them. They're awesome. Multi-tool, knife, everything you could possibly need. And I will. You'll probably agree with me, Roland. It's worth spending the extra money for a Leatherman, right? Yeah, there we go. Just a nod. Eimear, what's your next one?
Well, I was going to say purse, but then I thought that was multiple items because it included ID and stuff too. So I just went with cash. Hopefully a bit more than this, but this was what was currently in my purse.
There you go.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing as me. It's very overlooked. Let's have a quick look through the comments and see what people are saying about our first few items. Yeah, it's for getting gravy out of pies. That's for your filtration straw. Brian, Miss Worm says it's for getting gravy out of pies.
Obviously, what else would you use it for?
Brian's filter will put a big bulge in his sporran.
There would be plenty of room.
That's enough talk about Brian's sporran. Dean, okay, I'd knock on a door and fill my water. Obviously, that's kind of same sort of thing with Eimear with the bottle. She takes it full, but you can go and get water from many places. Cookies, TGX. Can you remind them of what that's called, Roland?
Seacock key. It's a utility key.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
If you go into a shop, into a crafting shop, you will find it under utility key.
Yeah, they have them at like islands of B&Q, like in the plumbing sections and stuff like that as well. Generally, people have like a radiator key, but this is like multi, so it's different sizes around it, which is cool. Let's scroll down a bit. Sorry, guys, if I miss your comments, it is what it is. I've got to, try and get what I can. Got to watch those locking blades in the UK, though. There you go. That's... Kelly says, what's Roland's channel? Roland doesn't have a channel yet. Coming soon. Watch this space. As soon as he launches, we'll all be singing and dancing and shouting about it, though. And sure, Lady J says, sure, there are top-up taps by Scottish Water in different public places. Do you know about that? Is there top-up taps around Scotland? Brian?
Best source of water would be a graveyard. There's taps at every graveyard you'll ever go to.
Nice. And it's usually not busy. It's quite dead. So I'm sorry. On that dad joke, we'll go to item number 3.
That joke died.
Stop. It's a slippery slope. Right. So my item number 3 is, obviously I thought about the knife laws in the UK, and this is generally an everyday carry for me with the office, and it's this. This is what's known as a tactical pen. So it's quite heavyweight. It's got a punch there, which can break windows, but it is just very sharp and dangerous at that end. And it's a functional pen, which clips on. So multiple uses to them. I got mine from Raven Forge, so I'm sure you could check them out. I went full screen and came small, and Roland disappeared. Oh, he's back. There we go. But yeah, so I got mine from Raven Forge, but I've seen them all over the place. But yeah, it's a really cool little tool. And just, I will say, if you clip it on your belt, be careful, because that thing, it's left a hole in my hip before. Brian, your 3rd item.
I'm a fire starter.
What's that? Ferris rod and striker. There we go. Source of fire needs no explanation. There you go. Roland, your 3rd item, please.
My keys to the shed.
There we go. I mean, I'll take it. But I assume that is to hopefully return, because the challenge was to leave.
Yeah, but in the shed is a lot of stuff.
Yep.
You don't know where my shed is, so
yeah.
There
you go. You never know when you might need a lawnmower. So there you go. Roland's is the keys to the shed. So we could probably count that.
No, not a lawnmower.
I know.
Stuff.
I know.
Say stuff.
I suppose we could say, for the people watching, people like thinking of EDCs, part of the EDC could be access to a stash, right? Whether that's a map to a location or something like that. So yeah, that's spot on. Eimear, your 3rd item, please.
I was really torn on. I know what my 4th one is, but the 3rd I was torn with. But I went for the foil blanket. Again, like, I didn't know what the scenario was, but I thought I'm miserable when I'm cold. So at least, even if you've got shelter, you might still be cold. So I went with the foil blanket.
There we go. Have you used one of them before, Eimear?
I've not. I've seen people wear them at like marathons and stuff like that, but yeah, I've never actually used myself.
Well, they're dual purpose. For anyone that doesn't know, you just see them in the Medikit and you've never used them. I've had them multiple times because I'm accident prone. In the cold, shiny side out keeps you warm. Okay, the other way around, in the heat, shiny side out, keeps you cool, and in the cold, the other way around keeps you warm. So you can flip it both ways to be warm or cold with that one. That was 3rd. Let's quickly look at the comments, because I saw a question that is now gone. Somebody asked basically if there we go. Would that be able to break a car window? Which was regarding the pen. Yes, it is. It's exactly, if you've ever seen the hammers that you get with the belt cutters, it's the same sort of thing. It's sharper than one of those, so multiple purpose there. I'm going to have holes in my finger demonstrating this all the time. There you go. This is what they tried to do to me, Tuck. I have a bug out bag if that counts as one item. Yes, no, that's what they tried to do to me. Cigarette lighter. I'll refrain from going through people's individual choices until we do our 4th. Have you ever tried to break a car window with a hammer? It's pretty hard. That's a cool item, Mike. Yes, it is. It's very difficult, and I have actually done it. I would recommend to anyone, whatever you're doing it with, try and wrap a piece of clothing or cloth or something around your hand, because it happened to a friend where it cut his wrist as he went through the window with one of those hammers. So safety first, guys. Safety first. Any other questions here before we go on to the next one? No, Eimear's just talking to them in the chat anyway. It's all right. Yeah. You can handle that then. Right. We'll go for the final item. Mine's already spoiled because Brian said fire. And if you saw my video the other day, this was a gift off a subscriber. Before I got this, my item was actually a normal lighter that was just wrapped in gaffer tape. I don't smoke anymore, but it's always good to have a lighter on your source of fire. It's, you know, it's a cutting tool. It's a source of heat. It's a source of sterilization. It's everything. So source of fire, definitely. And that's my fourth item. Brian, your fourth and final item?
Good work knife. So small full-tang knife. This is a slight cheat because if rule of law still applies, it's a fixed blade. So it's not under 3 inches and non-locking. So that is a bit sketchy and a bit of a cheat, but a good work knife for a multitude of applications.
Yep. Roland, your fourth and final item? You're on mute, buddy.
A fire striker.
Right. Okay. Yep. There you go. Another fire source. The ferrous rod and striker. Eimear, your final item?
Sorry, lads, but I went with a menstrual cup. Thought I'd show you a new one and not a used one. But these are amazing for women who menstruate. I don't leave the house without one. It's always in my EDC. I usually have like a little menstrual pack bag thing, but that's always in it as well. If I had to choose one item, I would choose that. It's really, really handy. You can wear it for up to 12 hours. There's no risk of toxic shock. It's reusable for up to 10 years. I think I've had mine for 8 years. Just about to replace it. You get different sizes, women, depending on if you've had kids or not. But yeah, they're about 15 quid, but they're definitely worth buying if you want to save some money as well.
There you go. Brian, did you remember your menstrual cup?
I have no opinion in this situation whatsoever.
You lost us there, but I'm so glad to have you here, Eimear, to give that opinion because we have a lot of female watchers who wouldn't maybe think of that because hygiene is everything. So I think we all have a source of fire. I think there was almost a yeah, and we all had some sort of. The only thing I didn't have was water, so I'm relying on my wits and charm to get water. And
you're going to be thirsty.
However, I can say one thing I will say: if we'd had a fifth item, what a lot of people miss. Just let me just go around. You don't have to show it if you've not got it with you. But what would your fifth item be if you had a fifth item? Because there's one thing I really think I should tell people, but I'd like to get you lot to go first. So Brian, if you had a fifth item, what would it be?
Small medical pouch.
Medical pouch. Roland, if you had a fifth item, what would it be?
My mobile phone, because I can pay with it.
There you go. There you go. Eimear, if you had a fifth item.
Oh, I was still torn, but I went with, I know people laugh at these, but I went with the radio solar what's it? Because I thought, well, at least I can get Radio 4 and just find out what the heck's going on. And it's got a little light on it as well.
Is it an everyday carry, though? It's not really pocket size, is
yeah,
it?
True. That wasn't the scenario you set us, Mike, so...
Yeah, well, it might be an everyday carry in the 80s if you were walking along with your radio. So I just want to say this for the fifth item. The challenge was 4. And what I want to say about the fifth item is because I saw it on somebody else's channel. So I don't want to take credit, but I also can't remember the channel, so I can't give them credit either. A lot of people forget is a container. Yeah, some sort of container. Now, that's not just like a plastic container for water, some sort of metal container. You can get these Grail cups, you can get mess tins, you can get all sorts of things like that. Part of your kit should always be that because to collect and sterilize water and cook, people remember fire all the time. People remember the actual stuff, but having a container is the be all and end all of it. You can't do anything without a container. So there we go. Brian, did you learn anything from everyone else's EDCs?
Yes and no. It surprised me. I thought everybody would be more or less the same, but there was a few wild cards. For once, I went with no technology. Generally, I go the opposite way, but it's a hard one because I couldn't say MDs was any better or any worse because the scenario was very open. So everybody's interpreted it differently. And the phone ones are, in the age we live in, if you've got internet and online banking, phones one I would certainly add. That's certainly something to take out of
that. Yeah. Roland, did you learn anything for your own EDCs from tonight?
Yeah, but like Brian said, the scenario wasn't specific enough and without any further knowledge, because depending on the situation, my EDC would look differently. And as I said, I have always my backpack with me.
Right. Okay. So Roland's answer is throw Mike under the bus. It was his fault. He's the host. He didn't do the scenario properly. Any questions you've got for any of the guys in the windows, get them in now, by the way, so we can read them before the end. Eimear, did you anything come up today that made you think about changing what you carry?
Yeah, well, I jotted down Leatherman because I don't have one, but it's something that my partner and I have talked about getting. So I'm gonna research that. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely worth the investment. What I would say is there's so many ranges with the Leatherman. Have a look specifically. Don't just think that's got the biggest number of tools, I'll have that one. Have a look what's on it and whether you would use that. So, because some of the smaller ones that are only like 60, 70 pounds could be perfectly adequate rather than spending 200. So, yeah, do your research on that one, definitely. Let's check in the chat what is going on. Dean OK today says foil blankets great, Poundland have them. There you go. So foil blankets should be part of your medical kit, guys, if nothing else. So just bear that in mind. For someone who broke his leg in 6 places, that foil blanket came in very handy at 10 o'clock on a football field. Amazon add-on item for me. All the emergencies I've dealt with were in summer, but in winter, oof, not fun. There you go. Eimear, stop typing, Eimear. You have a voice. If you take the headrest off the car seat, the prongs will break windows. There you go. That's some excellent advice there from Blues Self-Reliance. So when you remove the headrest on a lot of cars, I'll just say that my headrest doesn't come off. It's all molded as part of the chair. Brian, go ahead.
Can I just point out a slight flaw with this? You might be outside the car. How can you break into the car with the headrest inside it?
What emergency situation do you need to break into the car?
Baby in a car and the heat being abandoned while mum's in shopping.
Yeah, but surely there's rocks and everything around then. I think we're talking about getting out more than anything.
I'm just being pedantic. I'm just saying.
Yeah, just causing controversies. These are excellent advice there, Blues. Unfortunately, my car doesn't have them. Let's have a look. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves, guys, while I scan through the comments.
Because when I'm in the garden, I have always this with me.
Okay. Yes. Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
That doesn't look like a 2-inch foldable blade.
With a monocular and with fire and with my live straw.
How often have you had to use what's in there? Like in the garden? Is there stuff in there that you actually use as tools, or is it just there in case?
It's just there in case.
Right.
But when I go in the garden and don't have my backpack with me, I have this with me. And there are cards inside and shelter thingy. So, yeah.
I just got a feeling. I just got a feeling Roland's a lot more prepared than me.
The thing is, you don't know when the house is burning down. I never leave the house without a passport. Mm-hmm. I never leave the house without my wallet. And everything what could be burning down is packed in so that it's not burning.
Right.
So all my documents are in a secure place where, even when the house would burn, they would not burn.
There you go. There you go. Brian, you wanted in during that?
I was just wondering what size of garden he's got that you need a backpack to walk you through it. It must be some size. I was just thinking random thoughts.
The garden is big enough, and there are 2 sheds inside, and 6 200-liter water barrels.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
There you go. But, no spoilers. Roland is on the Prepper podcast this week if you'd like to know more. Let's have a look. My worst fear is needing monthly supplies and not having any. I think that's reference to your suggestion there, Eimear. So there you go. Great advice. You're already answering her. Unmute your mic and talk to the people if you're answering them, please, guys. Come on, you saved me a job of reading. Scottish style. I'll just sit here. You guys type. It's fine. The show can now be Mike sits while you lot type to the chat. Jesus Christ, can't get the stuff. There you go. Kelly's coming to yours, Roland. I'm bugging out to Roland's. There you go. 29 watching and 19 thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. It's free and it helps the channel. Thank you, Miss Worm. Miss Worm, the legend as always.
Here's a question.
Go.
That sort of preempted it. Just while people are putting things in the comments, that's what we've come up with for the scenario. What's everybody else's thoughts, that if they want to jot down what they would put in that situation in case we're missing a trick here?
Yeah, if you only had 4 items for an EDC, guys, what would it be? Jeanette Butler says, I carry water, foil blanket, etc. All the usual items, but additionally glucose tablets for energy if I have to walk any distance. Yeah, I've got the energy gels in my get home bag because they are great for something like that. Yeah. JD, hello, late to the party. Hi, Josh. JD's not Josh.
Is he not? I got that wrong. I thought I was Josh.
JD is female, for starters.
Yeah, sort of fucked that up a bit then.
There we go. There we go. Right. If you've no more questions, guys, does anybody else want to add anything regarding the EDCs or questions about each other's? Don't all speak at once.
Can't think of anything. You've covered it well, Mike.
Brian, I need to know. Them 4 items.
Yes.
Are quite big. How does that work as an EDC? I mean, do you go? There's a tent.
To give you comparison.
Here we go. This is what I want to see.
So that's back in its bag, but I'll take it out 2 seconds. So in terms of scale, they're all relatively small.
Yep.
Right. And the poncho is about the bulkiest item. Push come to shove, I could wear it. But these have all got carabiners on them, and they'll clip onto your belt kit or around your waist or in a pocket. But everything there, that's a slight fudge. That you could stuff it in a pocket. It might look like you're particularly gifted, but it'll fit.
Is it a poncho? Would you not just wear it?
Yeah, you could do, but not if it's 24 degrees.
Any further questions in the chat, guys, before we call it an evening? I carry IFAK on me every day now. I've got Mind Blank IFAK. Anyone?
Pass.
Individual first aid kit.
There we go, Roland. Oh. This is why Roland's here. There we go. Individual first
There's another answer.
Excellent.
Belt, light pen, power bank.
Yeah. Took my 4 items depending on weather's on my belt. My belt has a light pen, power bank. There we go. I considered a power bank, but I thought phone and power bank. It doesn't leave me much. Go on, Roland.
I think we need the belt from Batman because he has everything in it.
There is prepper versions of these Batman belts. I've seen these little utility belts. I'm trying to get my hands on one. I've seen it on the American channel, so I'm not sure how available they are over here. But yeah.
A lot of them are full of crap, mate. It's all like shit that's in them that you would never use. Like,
do you know what? I probably want it for the structure of the belt more than anything, because I would use it to put my own stuff in there. So it's interesting. And I'm not much of a seamstress, so I'm not just going to make a belt.
I'm surprised at that.
Yeah. Well, many people are. Miss Worm, I always have a pack of 10 cigarettes, though I'm a non-smoker. Very handy for making friends. That is very interesting. Good. What's more interesting is, where are you getting packs of 10 cigarettes? They stopped doing them about 2 or 3 years ago. You might want to check the sell-by date on them. It's definitely a talking point. Johnny has a question. What do you really carry rather than what you'd wish you'd carried? There you go. That's the question. So Johnny has made my point of this challenge, guys. What would you really carry? So I think Roland's already answered this, because he lives in a backpack everywhere. Goes to the outhouse with a backpack. Roland's fully prepared. Brian, what do you really carry rather than what you wish you'd carried? You don't really carry them 4 items around to the Tesco, right?
No, that's entirely for the scenario. But if I was traveling anywhere, I would always have as a base, more or less, all of these items anyway. But you're in looking in the realms of a bug out bag, right? Which is, I don't carry belt kit or anything as such. Mm-hmm. If I was stuffing something in my phone, it would generally be a wallet, car keys, and a phone. But stuff carrying for the prepper side of things, there'll be items in the car, which will be the essentials: food, water, shelter, fire, light, sleeping bag, that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But
so you kind of not doing an everyday carry, right? But you're always in proximity of preps. That's the same as you, right, Roland? It's not so much everyday carrying things in your pocket, but you're always in vicinity of preps, yeah?
Yes, I am. And the thing is, like I said, with my backpack, there's everything inside. I have in my backpack, I have 3 lights, and it says everything inside.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have an episode on Roland's backpack. We'll have to do. We will do a backpack episode where we can compare our backpacks. Eimear, yours seemed more sensible to something you'd carry every day, because the water you carry every day, right?
Yeah, so 3 out of 4 I carry every day in my backpack. And apart from that, it's like tissues and keys and like 1 MRE pack I keep, and then the rest is like a lot of things are in my car, so I'm usually in or near my car, but I'm at home a lot too, so kind of got everything. Yeah.
Well, I genuinely carry my 4 items. This is new, but I did always have a lighter with the tape round, so the same sort of 4 items I always carry. So that was an easy one. But thanks for the question, Johnny. It's much appreciated. I wear a core belt and just add what I find useful. So I think that might be what I'm on about, the core belt. I'll have to have a look at that after.
Can I just say, a lot of women's clothes don't have belt loops on them. So,
right. Okay.
Can't hook things onto like a skirt or whatever. I don't know. Just an observation. Sorry. Or pockets.
Well, your next video should be an EDC handbag.
Yeah, but for women there are it looks like a suspender belt, but only for the legs with pockets inside.
I've seen this on the Westerns with a little derringer that you can pull out and shoot if they're cheating at cards. There you go. So that's your answer, Eimear. Start wearing suspenders.
And that's when the channel went downhill.
Dixie, simple answer, no idea what you're about.
Don't know.
There you go. Tuck saying, who is that? Yeah, who's Mr. Beast? We don't know any of that. Why would you bug out? What would be the situation? Why would Well, yeah, okay. This is the question from Ready Prepper One. Sorry, I just had to read that twice. He's asking. Obviously, I think all of us are fans of bugging in, right? So, why would you bug out? Roland, you had your hand up, so I'll go to you first.
The only thing when I would bug out would be if Cork City would be nuked, or the house would be burning down. Otherwise, I would bug in.
There you go. Yeah, mine's pretty much similar, as in if the house is on fire or if it's under direct threat, because a lot of people will think they're Rambo and they can take on a gang of 30 people with their crossbow that takes 10 minutes to bloody reload. You're not Rambo. Bug out and then come back later. That's the thing. So, yeah, if my house was under direct threat, that's when I'd bug out. Brian?
Pretty much the same, mate. The house would need to be untenable, whether it's backfilled sanitation, on fire, or a threat that you couldn't contain or evade.
Yeah. Eimear, same for you. I mean, you're looking towards being a homesteader, right? So bugging out is like swear words.
Yeah, I mean, I think England would have to be under attack. So, like, one of my plan Bs is to try and make my way to Ireland, because it's, I think, politically neutral. I don't know if that's right or not. But yeah, just.
Oh, you got a reaction from Roland then. Speak, Roland.
Yeah, we both talked about the Irish and the preparations, and they are lacking so much in preparations. It's horrible.
Yeah. Do you think they do that because they're politically neutral, Roland? Do you think they take that for granted?
Probably, but I don't know. I, as a German, cannot fathom with that what the government is doing in regards of preparation stuff, but because stay in and watch and wait is not a real preparation for me.
Fair. Lady J just bought surplus trousers with a zillion pockets. That's going to come in handy. The more pockets, the merrier. I made some useful items out of old seat belts. Good for tree straps when hammocking. There you go. This is the people that say I can't afford to prep. This is the kind of thing you're looking at. Yeah. There's always ways. I mean, don't pinch somebody else's seatbelts, try and get them. They need them. Took me just pockets, belt, pistol, 2 magazines. Took me is not in the UK by the disclaimer, so don't try and hunt him down because he's carrying a pistol and 2 magazines. He's not in the UK. Lights, pen, cell phone, power bank, pocket ID, 2 folding knives, gum, cough drops, occasionally cash. I love that pistol, 2 magazines came before, and folding knives, and then cough drops, because if you're armed to the teeth, you don't want to be taken down by the common cold, right? Absolutely love that one. Thank you, Tuck. Guys, can we stop talking about Mr. Beast? I'm losing track of the goddamn things. I really don't care. Sewing needle and some tissue to stop the bleeding. Yeah. Interesting enough, you might be better with a fish hook than a sewing needle for the way you have to stitch a wound.
Better are the tackers, where you see from the veterinarians.
Staples.
Close the wound. Yeah.
All right. Staples. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. Carry a staple gun.
The strips?
How strong are they though?
They've got
strong enough.
Like traditional. Yeah, they'll do. They've got like the traditional steri strips, but they've got closure little wires essentially in them, and you can put them on the wound and then pull them from the outside in to close the wound over, and then just bandage it up.
Cool. Yeah, well, I'll be looking at. I've got my first aid kit. That'll be something I need to add to that, because the stereo strips, you know which ones I mean, the traditional white sticky ones, slightly thicker in the middle. You used to be able to get it on a roll, and I cut my thumb open from here to here, very deep at one point, and I was only like 12-year-old at the time, and the stereo strips were useless. My granddad was doing this with the stereo strips, and I was just holding a ball going, I'm bleeding to death. So there you go. Roland's Roland's got my scar. What is going on? What happened there, Roland?
I fall when I was 4 years old. I was falling into a glass and it broke.
All right, okay. Did Steri-strips work?
I don't know. And a year before, I was falling to a soup kettle and was burned from the knees with to the axles.
We shouldn't do a meetup, Roland, because I'm as accident prone as you. I think together we'd need an ambulance crew. Miss Worm said 2 magazines. She was thinking Women's Realm and Gardeners Weekly. I'm not sure that's what Tuck has with his pistol. Angela says Tesco is selling off their camping gear. Got a load of EDC grab bag stuff really cheap. Great start, Angela. I would tell you one thing. Check the quality. Some of the Tesco stuff I've had, and it's equivalent to pound shop stuff. When it's tent pegs and when it's basic stuff like that, it's good. But make sure anything you buy, don't just put it in thinking that's great. Everything you buy, use and test, because you don't want to be testing it for the first time when it's a necessity. Super glue for wounds, says Johnny. I've got 2 tubes in my bag. This is an old Vietnam War trick. What do you think of this one, Brian? Have you heard of this one?
I've heard of it, and I've accidentally done it numerous times using super glue, but I've never had to use it in anger. Many moons ago, when I could work with my hands for a living on the tools, it was generally as your fingers are hanging off, you'd get a roll insulating tape and just wrap shit until the bleeding stopped. That was pretty much the go-to staple. I
must admit, like duct tape is a great wound closure. The nightmare is getting it off again.
Have you seen them using shrink wrap for major chest trauma and stuff? See the rolls of shrink wrap that you buy?
Like what they wrap pallets with at the warehouse?
Yeah, that. But even the stuff for wrapping sandwiches, if you've got a major abdominal issue and you're trying to keep it cleaner for burns, a roll of shrink wrap in your home for wrapping up once you've cooled it and quenched it, wrap it in shrink wrap. Or if you've got somebody with an abdominal wound that's leaking out, wrap it in that.
I suppose it makes sense because it's similar to tattoo care, right?
Yeah.
Where you've got to wrap that and keep it clean, sort of thing. I mean, because let's be fair, SHTF situation, I think one of the biggest killers is going to be random infections like that. You know, something you took for granted in peacetime, that I've cut my finger, I've infected, I can get antibiotics, could suddenly lose your life, right? Gonna slowly round up there we go. Colloidal silver. Has everyone heard of this?
It should be used for antibacterial stuff, but when we are with this, you can also use, and this was something what I learned during my riding lessons. You could use your urine for it because it's supposed to be antibacterial.
Okay, right. I've changed my mind about bugging out to Roland's, because if I cut myself, he's going to pee on me. Brian, have you heard of colloidal silver?
I have not. I'm intrigued.
So, Eimear, before I go into it, have you heard of this one?
I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
Right. So, JD came on the podcast. We were talking about pets for prepping. And she mentioned this to me. I don't know if she mentioned it on the podcast or when we were talking afterwards, but she mentioned it to me. Now, my partner's got a skin condition, and she was talking about colloidal silver there. And then somebody else mentioned it as well. And it is just generally all around. It's almost like an alternative healing thing, but it does really it cleans up wounds and like abrasions, rashes, things like that really well and really quickly. I'm surprised it's not as popular, and it's now part of my prep. I have a big bottle of it, and it's not expensive. It really isn't.
Genuinely never heard it, mate. I'll need to get some.
Have a Google of it. There's people that tell you it's all sorts of wonderful things, and drink it with a shot of whiskey, but just for the general purposes, it's not too bad. I found it's actually worked where a lot of steroid creams haven't. So that should tell you enough there. Steel tent pegs are always useful for something eventually. even low quality pegs. There you go. Cling film. There you go. All agreeing with that one. Yeah, Brian's talking to me in the comments. He's doing the same as Eimear. I'm just here for show, guys. It's fine. Coming to the end now. My EDC bag has evolved from my work bag that I carry 10 hours a day and stays in my car. There you go. This is the thing. What I would say is don't start. I mean, we'll kind of round up here. Everyone can have a little recap and say their bit, but I'll say mine. Don't just watch a video on somebody's EDC and think that's a great EDC and pack exactly the same thing, because it is what everyone's emphasized here. It's very personal to your situation. And the people that jump on people's back critiquing their bug out bags, their get home bags, their EDCs, they have no rights to, because they don't know that situation. But just think your own circumstances, play out a scenario in your head. What would you need? What can you use? And it's all personal. Brian, do you want to wrap up on the EDCs? Do you want to give anyone a final thought?
Keep it simple, keep it practical, make sure it's evolving. The seasons change, you change, your needs change, the situation changes. So an EDC will be an evolutionary process. It'll never be a static concern.
Yeah, excellent. Roland, would you like to add anything on the EDC front? Advice? Bear in mind we have a lot of new preppers that watch us.
I would say if you start with prepping, create an EDC pack which is only for you, which is tailored to you, and then create a space outside of your living space where you can put in stuff which you would actually need when something is happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good advice.
Create a stash, and then it's all good.
Yeah, and put a lot of thought into that, because I mean, I for one am worried about burying something down the street that somebody will find it. So there's all sorts of ways and means. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video on preppers' stashes. Eimear, do you want to give us some final words of wisdom? I mean, your female-orientated EDC was excellent, because it's something none of us would have thought of. So would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, I think just carry what's best for you in your circumstances. And I just had a thought that actually a lot of women are caregivers, and they're probably carrying bits for their kids or partner or whoever. You know, when you get asked, oh, can you put this in your bag? Like, yeah, so you probably want to think about the people you spend most time with and add in something extra for them too.
Excellent. And for everyone watching, don't forget Brian's channel, Scottish Prepper 73. All these links will be in the description, or Miss Worm posts them randomly as well. Eimear's channel is Striving for Self-Sufficiency, so make sure you subscribe to both of them. Roland's channel is insert caption here, so he will have one eventually, I'm sure. Roland, do you want to tell people about the website, or?
Yeah, I'm part of Irish Prepper Group, or not only part, I'm admin and part of the Irish Prepper Group, and I can actually give you the link for the websites, and you can show them to the people.
Excellent. Right, so we will add that link inside the description as well after the end of the video. Other than that, thanks for watching, everyone. Would you like to wave goodbye, and we will play out with our mellow fireside music. Thanks for watching, guys. See you again.
Water stored in jugs and tins, bunkered down through thick and thin. Maps and routes all drawn and laid. Preppers live unafraid. At the prepper's fireside we stay, ready for that fateful day. Stories shared and hearts alight, round the fire every night. In the glow of embers dance, we've prepared for every chance. Living simple, living true, with the dream we all